Hey, welcome to the Shift New Era book launch. Because it's Remembrance Day, we're going to have a 2-minute silence, which is then led by Jackie Tilliard, who is a celebrant, and she's also co-author in Shift.
They shall not grow old, as we are left to grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. Thank you for honouring those who lost their lives during conflict and during COVID. We also remember family members who are recently passed. I know Sabine's uncle recently left the world. May their souls be lastful in eternal shift at peace. Shift, a new era begins. Some risked, some dared, some shifted whilst others stared. Some failed, some fell, some thrived, but all will be well. We hoped, we coped, we had faith in the future. We no longer drift, we lift, and we choose to shift. I would like to read now a poem that is dedicated to our book launch today. It was written by someone who championed our cause, was passionate about change, and alas, she too passed before today. So in honour of Jean Kay, I'd like to read her poem, Shift. Often in life, we need to shift gears, allowing changes to take place. But when mandatory rules appear, well, that's a different shift to face. Stay home, stay safe, keep your distance. Those were huge shifts to make. Suddenly, routines had to change for all of us, for our health's sake. Once we got over the initial shock, new routines were created. Work from home, no visiting seniors, no large gatherings, especially sports related. Priorities changed in an instant. No dining out, no concerts, no shows. Essential service jobs only allowed as expert advice continued to flow. It's a time to slow down and take stock. What do we need to be doing? Are we following our life purpose? Are our goals really worth pursuing? Many thousands of lives were lost due to the virus COVID-19. Those of us who survived it are grateful they created a vaccine. Whether we created personal shifts in life or are told what we must do, there are many positive steps to take, so our light will keep shining through. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. And thank you and welcome to everyone to today's book launch. My name is Sabini Matharu and I am the host today. And Jackie Tilliard is actually a celebrant and she's part of the book Shift. And I would just like to introduce her to you firstly before we go officially into the book and share all about the book, what it is, why it came about, what it is about, and you will also be able to meet the co-authors and of course purchase a copy and win some prizes. So Jackie, if you would like to share what is it that you have experienced through the pandemic? Obviously, you've been pretty much in the forefront. And obviously, as a celebrant, you have seen more funerals than weddings last year.
Absolutely. There was only one wedding in between mini lockdowns last year for me. But yeah, it was a difficult time. But I was kind of grateful that I was able to carry on working. And it was a very strange time. It's always difficult to deal with grief and loss. And last year was particularly trying. And I think, you know, the beginning slide talked about this layers of grief. So you'd had the initial loss of the person, the loved one, and then there were additional layers of grief where people were suddenly experiencing isolation. They couldn't be together with families. Many of the ceremonies that I conducted were with restricted numbers, and families were faced with the traumatic thing where they got to select which family members could attend a funeral. And as crazy as it sounds, being in a half-empty room is very difficult to hold space for people. So I found that really difficult. And I watched on as my peers within the funeral industry got sick. I didn't get sick, thankfully. But, you know, my whole social life ground to a halt. So no dancing, no cruising, no Zumba. So I got very unfit, my waistline expanded and I had to do something about it. Luckily, this week is the first time in nearly 2 years since I was able to go back on the dance floor. So that's been a shift of really thinking what was important to me and continuing to hold space for people who had lost loved ones. So there were many moments where there were shifts, some good, not so good. But I'm eternally grateful that I did have this role during that difficult time.
Thank you so much, Jackie. What a story. And you can actually read Jackie's stories which is part of this fabulous book. So this is what we're discussing today. Beside me is my dear husband, who has been also a part of this journey. As you can see, this is the third book that I'm launching. The first one was Rise in 2019. The second one was Joy in just before the pandemic, and then pandemic hit. And then I had this idea, I need to go and collect stories of the pandemic and really share inspiration. And so thank you to my husband, who's been my rock and obviously been helping me, because I would have not been able to create these sort of visuals and the concept behind the book. And he'll be talking about this in a minute when we are going to talk to the team. So thank you so much. So let me introduce the book, and then I'll introduce the team, the charities that we have in the background that we're supporting, and a little bit about myself so you can see me here on the screen. I'm the founder of the Empowerment Portal, and this is something that came out of the pandemic because I knew that people needed support, especially coming out of the pandemic, organizations in specific. So that's what we do at the Empowerment Portal, and I'm also a business coach. Also want to mention a thank you to my family, my 2 children, who've been super supportive and very, very excited about this book launch today. And I also have on the call my parents who are actually dialing in from Austria. So I'm really, really thankful for their support. Can't see them on the screen right now, but I'm sure they're super, super proud. So let me tell you a little bit about Shift and why the book exists and what it is all about. Okay. So as I already said, this book is a part of a series that is going to be 4 books. I had the idea of go and write a book with 100 inspirational people. So each book has 25 stories. And so this is the 3rd book. So we're now 75 stories, and there's going to be another one at some point. But I'm just pretty much led by my intuition. And I didn't know after the Joy book last February what the next book would be about. But I had this inkling, and it was literally at Easter Sunday last year. The pandemic just hit, and I had this sort of sensation, and this idea came washed over me pretty much. It wasn't me sort of trying to figure out an idea. It was literally almost like a mission given to me. And I actually talk about this in the book, and I tell you the story as well, which is one of my chapters. And what we know is that many individuals have faced extreme challenges in these times, and we have brought together the voices of this historic era. So it's also a historic book, obviously, where we want to capture these stories. And what we know is as well that we thought were things that were impossible had to actually change overnight, right? Dreams have been shattered, businesses had to be shut, and people had to work remotely all of a sudden, things we would have never thought possible. So that's really the essence. And we have 25 stories that tell this essence from different perspectives. Every single one of us has had some sort of shift in our lives that will be lifelong. And that's why it's called Shift, a New Era Begins, because we are entering that new era. So we've also had fabulous reviews, and it's been tons and tons of support. So I really would like to thank everyone who sent in reviews, who've supported, who've shared the book out with their friends, family, because we want to impact the world. We would like to inspire everyone around the world with these stories. A, to show what we've been through, to capture the history as well, and B, to inspire. So these are not negative stories. It's obviously telling the tale, but also how people have come through at the other end as well. So what else have I got for you? So yeah, I would like to introduce the charities. I'm not sure if the gentlemen are here that are actually representing our charities. They might be coming to our 2nd launch date, which is in the evening. So we are actually international. We've got people from all over the place. So like we've got some ladies here from Australia. Tonight we'll have people over from Canada. So that's why we're doing 2 launches. I counted about 15 nations in this book, okay, and about 10 different countries. So it's incredible. And I just want to show you very visually a little bit. If you can see my screen, or you can make me a little bit bigger. Let's say this is not an ordinary book, okay? This has got amazing images in there. Thank you to all of you and my husband to make it super, super exciting. It's a picture book, and it's really worth getting the paperback because the Kindle doesn't do it justice, I would say. So just know it's always a book that you can sort of open up, read one story, have it next to your bed, and just get some inspiration here and there. It's definitely not a book that you have to read from A to Z, and that is like the one story or the one text. It's literally sort of dip in and out and get some inspiration as when you need it. And what we also want to do is I want to give back. And so I've actually really been searching for local heroes. And one of the local heroes we find here is Jamie Green, who is the chair of One Slough. So I happen to live in Slough, in a town called Slough in the UK. And I really wanted to feature local people, and he's been in the front line, and he tells his story in the book. He's actually put together vaccination centers, all these volunteers. He's helped obviously the elderly get food, the homeless getting shelter. So his story is just incredible, and we're featuring his charity here, One Slough, and a link there should you want to donate. We would be very, very honored. Of course, all the profit from the book go to our charities as well, although the profits are very, very minimal. And quite unfortunately, Amazon is taking the big chunk. So if you have it in your heart, please go to the back of the book and click those links and just add like whatever you can give some money to these amazing charities, and you will read their stories in there as well. So you will be super amazed at what they're doing. The second person we've got here is Leon Art. He's actually the guy who has created Kitchens with Compassion, and he's actually started a kitchen in London right at the beginning of COVID, when COVID hit, because he knew people needed food. And he's been cooking with hundreds of volunteers, about 500,000 meals by now. So it's another incredible story. Again, it's in the book, and there's a link for you to, just give some love to his charity as well. So we're really, really thankful for that. I don't know if Leon or Jamie are on the call. If you are, unmute. If not, we'll hopefully see you tonight and they can say a few words. But let's get over to the team. We've got Sam here. Sam has been instrumental for making all of this work. She's been super, super patient with everyone because she's been dealing with 25 authors who all had different ideas, and she is the person who really made the stories sound wonderful. So she's a copywriter and editor. And Sam, I would love you to just unmute and say a few words from your perspective.
Oh, thank you, Sabine. And yeah, congratulations on this book. Congratulations to everybody. It was, very inspiring to read the stories. I think particularly because we kind of started it while we were still going through the lockdown and all that period. And I have to say, some of the stories actually made me cry. And the two you've just mentioned, the two charity stories, very, very inspiring of what the two guys did during the lockdown. Amazing. All of the stories, very, very different, most of them, unique in their own way, and very much that inspiration about shift and how we can all create that shift within and then expand that outwards to create great change in the world. Thoroughly enjoyed working on them all. Just amazing. I just hope you have massive success with this and create that shift in the world that you're looking to do.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you for your support. You've been ever so patient, and you've done a fabulous job. And last but least, or second team member, we've got my amazing husband, Pripal Matharu.
Amazing, wow.
Say that today. Yeah. I mean, sometimes, we had our differences. He always kept on asking me, so what is this book about? Tell me. I'm like, I don't know. I need to read the stories. I need to get into it. I need to look at what they've written and the flow and everything else. And we've brainstormed so many times. And all of a sudden it came to us because we knew it was about the pandemic. And it was literally about to go to bed. And it was one after a call that we had with the co-authors. And we looked at each other like, right, they should be uplifting perspectives, because obviously we could have said motivational, but we said no, uplifting. And the next thing that came into our mind was like bubbles.
Bubbles, yes.
Because we were in bubbles, right?
That binded everything together. That just it just dawned on me. I was heading towards another direction. Then I had to be honest and sort of real and present within the book itself, what shift. And then it just dawned on me, bubbles. We all associate the whole pandemic with bubbles. We were all put in bubbles, whether it be by governmental dictatorship or whatever it was, however you want to take it, we were all put into bubbles. And then, it's that we associate with this time where, yes, we weren't allowed to mingle or associate with the wider public, and we still can't at some point. And at some point we probably will be liberal and open, and we still, I mean, I was invited to a Christmas party quite recently on a wider scale, and I had to say no because that's the way I feel right now. I'm not ready, and some people are okay with that. They can still mingle and carry on with their lives. We are at different stages of our lives, so bubbles is something that I associate with instantly, and that's where the idea derived in my mind. And yeah, it was something that we discussed, and through discussion and being open about the whole the subject, it just dawned on me that that was the direction it was going to take. And I'm very happy with the visuals. I haven't read one story yet, even though I've been staring at it every single day. I've been looking at little details, little things that matter to me, how it's aesthetically going to look on the page. But I can't wait to have my own copy and read through every one of your stories. I think it's going to be powerful. And like Samantha said, highlighted it, it made her cry. I'm sure there's going to be a full of emotion that I'm going to be feeling as well in the same breath.
Yeah.
But well done, guys. I really, I'm honored and pleasure to share the stage with you right now and to be part of this powerful project.
Thank you. Yeah, and you spent a lot of time just looking at the detail, because we really wanted to make this a beautiful interior, not just a book with text. It is also about design interior. As you can see, all the bubbles above his name there. So every co-author has their own feature page where it looks very similar as to what you can see here on the screen. And they are all very inspiring stories and very touching. Every single story is so different. So that's what I really love about it. Okay, so let's move on. So how can you purchase the book? It's available on this very easy to remember link. It's learnmoreabout.info. Of course, you can also go and search on Amazon, but this is the page where you will also be able to go and get your bonuses. And the button on that particular page, when you go buy on Amazon, it will actually lead you to the country or wherever country you're in. It will actually lead you to your correct country, so you don't have to go and search. So this is probably the easiest link to use. So learn more .about.info/ this should be called shift. Forgot to put that in. Otherwise you would want to get nowhere. So that's the link. I'm going to post it into the chat now, so you can go and grab your copy. As I said, I would dearly recommend the paperback. I'm a bit biased because the Kindle is just obviously very small, depending on what you read it on. But it is something to actually look and feel, and it's like a picture that you just want to have on your shelf. Really worth having it on your shelf. So when you go to Amazon, you come back to this page, you can put in your name and email here. That means you'll get to your bonuses. So I will send you an email with bonuses, and I'll tell you what the bonuses are. This is very exciting. So firstly, we have created an authentic audiobook. All of the co-authors have actually recorded their stories in their authentic voices, and that I think is so super special. So you get your audiobook. Obviously it will lead you to a folder where you can download it, so that's why we need your email address. And then secondly, you will get also 30 days free access to our empowerment portal when you use this promo code SHB launch. Okay, so I kind of alluded to it. I'm the founder of the Empowerment Portal, and the idea of the Empowerment Portal is to help organizations, individuals, and teams tap into resources. And we've created a membership site where there are collateral, I think it's about over 30 pieces of training right now that cover all sorts of different things: leadership topics, personal development topics, entrepreneurship mini trainings that I've put in from my side, mental wellness programs, physical wellness programs. I know, for example, Barry and Laura on the call, who are also co-authors, they've put in their programs in there. So it's well worth just go and have a look. You'll have the 30-day free trial, and then you would be billed afterwards. You can cancel at any time, but obviously go and make the most of the 30 days and see whether you like it. We'll also put more resources into there, because there's more topics evolving as we speak. So here it's just a collateral. We've got parenting, we've got, as I said, remote working things, women in leadership. We do Lunchy Learns. Loss and grief, Jackie is a part of it as well. Love relationships, career support, business startup, you name it. So you've got a collateral of information in there. So, and bonus number 3 is basically we would love your help. We would love you to snap one of our prizes that we've put together. We've got around about 5,000, probably even now more, because I'm just looking at all the prizes that these amazing co-authors have actually donated. And if you'd like to get one of these prizes, what you need to do is leave us a review on Amazon and then join the Shift Book Facebook group. And then what we'll do is we'll do a prize draw in there on the 1st of December. Okay, so I will have a look at all the people that are in the group. Obviously, if I could go over on Amazon and check whether you've left a review, but then I wouldn't have your email address or any contact. That's why I would love you to join the group. And in the Facebook group, we're going to be sharing more and more things as well over the next couple of weeks about the book and so on. So you'll be in and amongst the co-authors with us in the group. So you can join us in the group there as well. So what we have in terms of prizes, we've got a coaching from Cliff. He's a HR consultant and an executive coach. We've got Gina's offering cloud clearing sessions. We've got Mira, who has a discovery coaching sessions. She's a life coach. These are all valued at like hundreds of pounds, right? So lots of. Melanie's put in a career life coaching session. Paul's got a coaching session. Claudia's put in her 4-week program, which I can't remember what it's called. Maybe you can just put it in the chat, Claudia. We've got Jackie, a one-to-one mentoring session. Sharon's put in a session, a universe program available for 3 individuals. We've got different programs. We've got one-to-one sessions. We've got Caroline just giving away a healing session, and Marie as well, who's going to give away a checklist and guidelines for finding a coach that is right for you. And I'm sure there's going to be a few more. So there's plenty of prizes to choose from. So I would really encourage you to leave us a review on Amazon. It's worthwhile. And what we'll also be doing is we'll enter you into the prize draw if you see this one. So if you go onto your friend's timeline, my timeline, or you could just take a screenshot of this right now and just share it with the hashtag #ShiftBook. And if you could just put the link there where people can just put into the chat, if you could just add that and say, PS, grab a copy here, that would be wonderful. So you could just basically screenshot us right now, share it on social media with the hashtag #ShiftBook, and I will enter you into the prize draw as well. So I'll give you another 30 seconds to screenshot this, however you want to do it. And remember, if you're already in the extended launch team, you would have these banners available as well. So if you are joining the Facebook group that I just showed before, under the bonuses, you will also get this banner. So we're really, really thankful for all your sharing and support, because we can just do so much and so much more together and impact the world by multiplying our efforts. So okay. Okay, thank you, Claudia. So there is the experience there that you have can offer. Great. So what do we do now? Here's one of the reviews. Yeah, just to let you know what people already said, what another great way to connect people in the midst of social distancing. I love reading about the positive and deep transformational people are experiencing through COVID-19. This book has plenty of that. If you'd like more hope, to know you're not alone, or to be inspired to see a deeper gift through unexpected challenges the pandemic brought you, this book is great for that. So thank you, Kim O'Neill, who's confidence and interview coach, for this fabulous review. And we've got more reviews when you go on to learnmore.info/shift. You got like 30 odd reviews already there to see what other people said. So now I would like to open the stage for the most important people, which are the co-authors, because without co-authors, I would have not been able to bring this book out. No way I would have been able to write my own book on my own. I just don't know what I would be saying over 200 pages. So I'd rather have like collateral stories. That was my initial idea. So I thank every one of the co-authors that have come forward and said, I have a story to share. I would love to be part of this. And I'd love them just to unmute, and we'll go around whoever is here right now. They will share very briefly about why they wanted to be in the book, synopsis, just a bit of a cliffhanger about their story. And then I know each of them already has a mantra as well in the book. So there's a little mantra just to give you a bit of an inspiration. So I'm just going to stop sharing my screen. And if anyone's got any questions about the book and our guests, please let us know. We can answer them afterwards as well. So I'm just going to go around as I see people on the screen so I can be very systematic and won't miss anyone. So I'll go with Caroline, then Claudia, Cliff, Debbie. I think you're not quite in alphabetical order. I've got Gina further down. So I've got Claudia, I got Caroline, Claudia, and then Cliff. I'll pin you, Caroline, if you're good to go first, or would you like someone else to go first?
No, I can go first.
And you're in Australia. Yeah, let us know as well, where are you? Because obviously we've got so many different nationalities and countries as well.
Yeah, Adelaide, South Australia, and it's 10 o'clock at night here for me. So I don't know how long I'll be here because I've got to get up early, but yeah. Okay, so so public speaking is a little bit of a struggle for me, so bear with me. So a little bit about my story is getting to a point within a destructive relationship and feeling that something really needed to change. And so then what that shift entailed for me, I guess, and how I progressed through that. But it's getting to that point of feeling that you need something to change and creating the shift and facing adversity, and then how you can come out on the other side. And I really wanted to share this part of my story because I feel that it's really important that people know that they have the tools and they can get through anything. It doesn't matter what causes a trauma, that you can find it within yourself to get through the other side and actually be happy in life and not feel like you're struggling and you're never going to be happy again. So that was really important for me. So the little mantra that resonates with me is that if you listen to your intuition, it will never lead you astray, because I've always listened to my intuition, and that helped me throughout my whole life, really, but especially when I was going through that really difficult time, and listened to my heart and asked for some guidance, and that's what happened in a nutshell.
I love it. Would you like your mantra? Have you found it, or do you want me to read it?
Oh, yes, sorry, no, I did find it. It was listen to your intuition, for it will never lead you astray.
Brilliant. I'm just going to hold up the book. Obviously, you don't have the book yet. I've got my proof copy, so I just wanted to show everyone quickly what Caroline's story looks like. Beautiful. Okay, thank you, Caroline.
Thank you.
Let's move on.
Thank you.
Claudia.
Well, good morning to you all, and it's an absolute pleasure to be with all of you and to see you face to face and heart to heart. So my story goes back to really an endeavor, a challenge that I've been with myself for the whole of my life, and knowing and seeing that I was really trapped in bubbles, continuous bubbles of perception of myself and how I would like to live my life or wanted things to happen to me. And so really, I've been looking at what is consciousness and what is energy, and how do these two merge, and what will happen when these two melt into one another as a being, as a form of isness. And it's been an absolutely tremendous experience, because this lockdown has given me the chance to really breathe into myself and discover that I am energy and I am consciousness. That's all that I am, in a physical, biological power work of art, of creation. And that's totally changed my perspective with everything that is who I am. And it's bringing out so much passion in my form of expression, whether it's writing a book, talking to people, or creating events. And Sabine partook in one of my events here. I'm in Italy at the moment. And it's just moving. Also to observe how, once I am conscious within my light, within my radiance as energy, how everything around me changes, right? And we're often not aware of that, because we think from a mindset we have to change things from our brain. You know, I've got to do it like this. And what, for a moment, we stopped this doing part and come into the being part of what we truly are. It creates infinite love, joy, compassion, and stops a lot of suffering and drama. So that's what I've got to say.
Awesome, thank you.
Brilliant.
You can read yours.
Yeah, it's conscious embodiment is a natural unfoldment as a masterpiece of creation. And this is what we are. Thank you.
We've got 9 more. I've just calculated, probably about 2 minutes each. So we keep it to the hour. Cliff, you're next up. I'm
Yes.
just going to go alphabetical order now. I think that'll be
Okay.
easiest.
Hello.
Okay, so
Thank
everyone
you.
knows.
Thank you. My story is simply one that is similar, I'm sure, to many people who experienced during lockdown that their job was eliminated. That happened to me. In my case, I was expecting to and planning to do something different. Anyway, this was just accelerated for me. So in many ways, this was not an unwelcome thing, but it was a sudden thing. And I lived and worked, I say lived, in a way I did live in the corporate world for many years in several different countries at different times. And then all of a sudden I was working for myself, and somehow thought, okay, this will be all right, won't it? And actually it has been all right, more than all right. I'm thoroughly enjoying and learning from it. But what I discovered is that I'm starting in many ways all over again. It's just completely new. So there's been a rejuvenation for me about this experience, which has been a wonderful thing. It's also exposed me to a huge number of people, many of them on this call, whose work and whose life I've just found to be very inspirational in itself, and I'm learning from. So it's just amazing that you can live and work alongside people and you had no idea what it was like. So that's my story. And I've got my my mantra, which is that every new adventure starts with baby steps. And that's not a picture of me, either now or before, but it sort of represents the idea that somehow you have to start over again in some ways. So thank you very much. And I hope you enjoy the book, and I'll hand over to whoever comes next.
Brilliant, thank you.
Brilliant.
We'll hand over to Debbie. And Debbie,
Hello, everyone.
you're also in Australia.
Yes, I am. Just to wish good morning to England, Europe, and the rest of whoever is there from Europe. And for us Aussies, it's an evening now. So my story, as you know, my story is a bit different. But the point of all our stories, I think, is the same. As myself personally suffered earlier in life, how is that related to those times is, I think, pain is pain, you know? We all feel it. and we all struggle to find ways to overcome it. So why I said yes to this project is that, you know, since I came to Australia and meeting new people, I always try to belong, you know, after the war and everything, just to find the place where I actually belong. So, I mean, I couldn't hide, my accent is really strong. So it would always end up with questions, you know, why are you here? What brought you here? So at the start, I didn't want to share my story. But then seeing it, when you talk to people and share, you know, your pain, your vulnerability, you can see that helps, really does. So I've learned that in giving away my story, I could see that it can help and transform someone else's life. So that was my biggest yes for this project. And the story is about everything that happened to me during the war in Bosnia, losing everything, loved ones, and I mean, everything, and coming to Australia, starting a new life. So, yeah.
Brilliant, thank you. Would you like to share your mantra?
My mantra, I don't have anything, but I know mine. It's yes, yes. I stopped waiting for the light at the end of the tunnel and lit it up myself. It's always up to us.
Beautiful.
It really is.
Thank you so much, Debbie.
What a
We've
pleasure.
got Daniel next.
Thank you very much. I've really enjoyed listening to the previous authors, and my story mentions in, I think, the opening paragraph, a time where I stood up for myself in leadership, age 10, on the streets of London, physically fighting anti-Semitic youths who would taunt me and my friends. And the idea about knowing my gifts, my boundaries, courage, and values, and how during COVID I I really pivoted and changed my perspective of other coaches, other consultants, seeing them not anymore as competitors, but as collaborators and allies. And what a beautiful unfolding that was. I, like Cliff, in fact, including Cliff, met some beautiful people. Thank you, Cliff, and thank you, Sabine. And I don't know anyone else on the call, but I look forward to connecting. And the message that I share in my story later on is around changing the way I think and work, and reevaluating my business process, and how I went on the front line creating leadership circles with leaders around the world on lots of different topics, and creating safe psychological spaces, which was so important, and finding a home within leadership development for deeper conversations. And the key message in my chapter is around going deeper and staying true. So my copy arrived, which I'm delighted to say. And the bit I wrote at the bottom is: to grow tall, dig deep. To realize your potential and to change for good takes courage, perseverance, and clarity. Anyone who has made the journey to transform themselves, their team, or their organization will tell you it was worth it. So for me personally, for any of us and for those we serve, encouraging people to dig deeper, stay true, and integrate stuff, the emotional dynamics, the intellectual imperatives, the need for growth and execution, but doing so from a more grounded, holistic sense, better for the many, not the few. That's the message of my life. My company is called Realize Your Potential for Good Limited, and it's all around encouraging and educating and empowering those who wish to better themselves and others. And yeah, anyone wants to visit realizeyourpotential.com, anyone wants to check out and get together, do good together, I welcome that. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. We've got Dina up next.
Hello, and thank you. And yeah, I'll ditto what Daniel said. It's been really interesting listening to some of the other stories. So my story didn't take place in COVID. It was some years before where my real shift took place. And it was around my diagnosis and journey with dealing with that diagnosis with multiple sclerosis and the challenges that brought. And I sort of go a bit deeper in explaining how I shifted a perspective around it, how I looked outside of what I was told. And I think it was Caroline who said looking inwards, looking at your intuition. And I think part of my shift was trusting that intuition and trusting that actually we do have the answers inside of us. And the whole idea that when we have a challenge, in my case, you know, a pretty not very nice diagnosis, that actually wrapped up in that challenge somewhere is a gift. And it's our job, or this is what I've chosen to believe, to unwrap the gift. And the gifts is almost wrapped up in our beliefs and our perceptions and what we're told by the world at large. And at the moment we're told a lot of stuff that is very debatable, and we have to choose ourselves what feels right for us and what is listen to ourselves. So that's the concept of my story. My mantra, or my quote if you like, is it's not the situation that makes us feel bad, it is our perception of it, and we can change that. So thank you very much. And if you want to come and look me up, my name is Gina Dallison, and I've got a group on Facebook called Managing MS Naturally. So if that calls to you, come and have a look, and we can talk. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Gina. Okay, we've got Jan up next. Welcome.
Me, Sabine?
Yes,
okay.
You're here.
So everything I heard, I can relate to every single story. I think we all can. And what to say about myself, Jan Ennertain Sahima. I'm a German national, as I'm sure you can hear. And I left Germany about 30 years ago to live a life on the move. I'm a published author. I published Living Your Best Life Abroad, really sharing my own insights, especially for accompanying partners who are kind of forced to really change countries nonstop every 2 to 3 years. So what happened for me, this shift moment, I was sitting in Basel in Switzerland and preparing to move to the UK, to London. And London had always been my one of the top 2 cities where I wanted to live. It was Paris and London. So what happened during lockdown in Switzerland, suddenly my husband got a job offer in Germany. I had successfully left Germany behind and had never regretted to be away from Germany. So suddenly I was almost forced to move back to a country that I had left 30 years ago. A very difficult situation. London, I had prepared for London, for working in London. I started working with a career counselor in London. And so this Germany move. And so how do I deal with this? And then I continued working with my coach, which was really great in London. And with my family I supported to move to Munich. We have a wonderful apartment in Munich. However, I decided to continue my career in London and not in Germany. So it was a second time to decide against my country of birth, if you want. Very sad. I'm an integration expert. And as an integration expert, I had to decide against integration, my own integration, while integrating my family. Very, very challenging, okay? Because obviously created a dilemma within myself. I found wonderful people to support me, both in Germany to help my family integrate successfully, which was challenging. I have a 17-year-old son who suddenly came and said, I want to relocate back to Switzerland. So lots of challenges. However, I managed. I'm currently in the process of creating a new company in London that's called Global Career Associates, supporting internationally mobile people to continue their careers And yes, that's me.
Brilliant. John, would you?
Oh, you
You'd
know what?
want-
I have a bit of issues to read. I'm sorry. It
I
always
can read it.
I've got it. I've got it. So basically, nothing and nobody will stop me to live my life to the fullest. Yeah, and that's it basically.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, John. Next up, Laura and Barry Ash.
Hello.
Hello.
So the reason why we wanted to take part in this book was because, number one, it's amazing just to be, you know, amongst amazing, inspirational people. And number two, this is history, right? Whether we like it or not, we are creating history with everything that we've been through. And our story is more of an observation around the health and well-being and weight loss industry, because literally overnight, everything went from superficial, how you look, getting into your clothes, to bam, becoming healthy, because we had this invisible virus that was basically attacking us. And we talk about all the crazy things that people were doing with the vitamin C and the vitamin D and panicking, and how the real shift was that we went from the outside to actually looking at the most important thing, which was the inside. And a lot of people went inward for reflection and looking at how their mental health was more affected. We talked very much about community and how people started to come together because they craved that, and how they made adaptations within their life and their health and well-being, their lifestyle, to actually make sure that they were focusing on their health. So for us, it was actually quite an exciting time because we got to talk about the thing we love the most, which is health, really, to be honest with you. So yeah, ours is just very much about reminding you what is actually important, and that is our health. And Sabine, I will hand over to you to read our quote.
Okay, so show the page. The only way out is within. The greatest wealth we have is our health. It is only in the silence that we really hear what is important. The gift of health keeps us alive.
Absolutely.
Thank
And the
you.
picture of Barry, I promise you, is Barry. He's just a bit more furry now.
Is he doing
There we go.
He's doing a challenge. He's not had any shave since lockdown started.
Or a haircut.
It's him and Sifu Vic. They're on a mission, I think it is. Yeah.
But thank you so much for allowing us to be part of this journey. We are truly honoured.
Brilliant, thank you. We've got Marta Maria next. Hello.
Hello. Thank you so much for being able to be part of this journey. I really loved listening to the other stories. Just before I joined this book, I read both of the previous ones, all the stories. So I basically feel like I already know the 50 people who joined the books before. My journey started a lot before COVID, the shift really. And I think the best is if I just read my my mantra, which is only true stories can break trauma bonds, where those who are the storytellers act like human catalysts in a positive transformative change. And I truly believe this, because whenever something challenging happens to us, it just it can be an inspiration to change ourselves, to change others. And I hope that my story about trauma bonding and the toxic relationship can help others to overcome the difficulties which presented a big challenge back then, because I didn't know what to rely on. I didn't know anything about this toxic relationship world. And educating myself, I became an empathy researcher. And I got the honor that my tutors at the MA course, Human Trafficking, Migration and Organized Crime, told me that my university will buy one of the books and teach with my story. And that is a huge honor. Thank you.
And I just want to show this beautiful image of your story. Brilliant. Next up, we have Mira.
Good morning and good afternoon, all of you. Or even good evening to beautiful co-authors from Australia. It's a big honor for me and pleasure to be here and to participate in this book launch. Thank you, Sabine, for having me with other wonderful co-authors. I wrote a story about personal transformation, and my life has changed enormously since last year. Last year, I was still a nurse working in the front line, assisting doctors with endoscopic procedures. So when the COVID first started, I was one in the first who was affected, and I was really sick, which on top of asthma, what was really a huge challenge for me. I was off sick for a few weeks from my work, and this is when the transformation has happened. I am not a type of hero, and I was very scared listening to the overwhelming TV news, and I was scared about losing loved ones. So I prayed for the courageous heart, because I thought, okay, I am a nurse. I have to return to my place of duty where I will be helping people. And I also was worried about my loved ones, but I knew I didn't have that heart. So I prayed for the heart. So the universe, God, they have heard my prayer. And what I have acquired, not only a courageous heart, the idea of and the mission of serving others on a deeper level have been like downloaded to my mind. And this is when I decided to change my career, and I decided to start a training and serve others as the life coach. I am all about helping others, and I would love to do that from the space of my heart. And I know that one of the ingredients in order to do it properly is a courageous heart. So I am very grateful that in this process of transformation, I have acquired one. And you can hear me, I talk, I can speak to you, there is no disturbances, there is no coughing. So this is a very personal kind of transformation on a deeper level, because I have healed myself as well in the process of the transformation. Thank you so much for listening to me.
And let's just share your mantra, shall we?
Yes, please.
I've got it on the screen. Would you like to read it?
Yes, I can read it. So we all have the inner power allowing us to change this world, as long as we strive to be a light for others.
Thank you so much, Mira. And I think last but not least, we have Sridhar.
Hi, Sabina, thank you, first of all, for such a great mission this is, to actually kind of get all 25 of us. It's never easy. And also Samantha, I don't envy, your work to actually kind of go through everything and then making it look, as they are, especially in my case, but thank you for that. It was an interesting journey to start off with, when we discussed first what we were doing in our company. I work for a private members club in London, very high-end hospitality. And as you all know, hospitality was the possibly worst affected industry. So while we were going through the shift of what needs to be done when the COVID is, rampaging France and Italy, it's some of the steps which we have actually kind of taken is part of the story which I have. But I think more than anything else, it's the coming together of people, where the employees They were sacrificing each other's, shifts, salaries, so that others could actually kind of get paid. And the courage and the spirit of oneness they were actually showing, which we always thought probably they would be there. It's quite a norm where every company nowadays, everyone calls their own company, people working there as a team, and we are all one family. But it actually came true. And that was quite a revealing moment where people were sacrificing their own salaries so that others can actually kind of get paid. So yes, that's one thing. And the spirit that we were getting pushed down by so many things which are happening around, but there is always this positiveness when we are speaking with each other that we are going to come back, we are going to bounce out of it. So there was never a doubt that we are not going to come out of it with renewed energy. And I think probably that is what is the purpose of this book, that no matter what happens, whether it's pandemic, whether it's not pandemic, whether it's a personal misery, whether it's a combination of so many different obstacles which we all face, it will all come to an end, and we all will come out of it with a positive outcome, whether it's personally, from our own mental perspective, as some of you I can actually kind of see, and especially in Claudia's case, the fact that energy and consciousness. So it's so great to hear. So my only concern was when I was actually talking about it, whether my story will be good enough to be with all of you. And hopefully it's there somewhere, because it's not about me, it's not about what I have done, but it's about the spirit of human. It's the human spirit. And what's ironic is I am actually in the bubble currently, tested positive. All my family is self-isolating, so so we are still in it, but still positive. Things will only be better.
Thank you so much. And it is such an inspirational story of yours. And like, I mean, as a HR manager, can't imagine what you actually gone through. Here is your page. I don't know if you would like to do the honor.
Yeah, I think I have got it here. It's again, it's not my own mantra, but something which I have actually kind of read. It says, it's from Leo Tolstoy. It says, there is something in the human spirit that will survive and prevail. There's a tiny and brilliant light burning in the heart of a man that will not go out, no matter how dark the world becomes.
Thank you so much. And thank you to all of co-authors. Everyone who's been here today live, please, could you go into the chat? I mean, I'm talking to the guests here, and send me a message with your email, because I'd like to add you to a special prize draw for the live event. Okay, so if you go into, not sending it to everyone in the chat, if you just select my name, which will come up as Sabine Matharu, and just send me your email address so I can put you into a special prize draw as a guest today, being live on the call as a thank you. So I would just like to close the call by once again thanking everybody. We've been super, super proud. It's been quite a process, I must say, but it's been a beautiful project, and I'm, it's inspirational, it's relevant, it's, really, really what we need and how we can actually capture history. So if you would be happy to share the book out with #ShiftBook and grab a copy, there's the link for you. Once more, thank you everyone for coming along to the launch. We have a second session tonight at 7 p.m. to actually interview the other half, because it's 25 of us, so there's a few more to be going through tonight. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.